This is First GenXers.
We are live, and what's up, y'all? What's up? This is me, Dark Lord 100, aka known as Double KK Double. And we are here with the classroom. How y'all doing out there tonight? Miss O'Malley, welcome to the show.
What's up?
All right, as we always say, this is the classroom featuring O'Malley, so it ain't right if she ain't here. All right, so let's open up with this. There was a game played the other night between the Golden State Warriors and the Los Angeles Lakers. And it was a game that I know I was proud to watch every minute of it. But for me,
That was
it was up.
that was a great game. I
Yeah,
mean, it was a great game if you were a Lakers fans all the way up until like the end.
yeah. Well, I would say yes and no because it never really felt like the Lakers were in the game. Like,
No.
like the Warriors defense was just doing their thing, and the Lakers just not even LeBron James. Like, and then the one that got me where there were two shots that got me. It was Jimmy's corner three with LeBron like inches off of him, and then it was Podminski's half quarter to end the half.
Yes.
That was just I genuinely asked, like, what are we
I
doing
I
out there?
I did feel like Steph's pause, wait till the block goes by, plant, shoot on that three was beautiful. He
Oh man,
timed that perfect.
Jackson Hayes, brother. I'll tell you like a homeboy of mine told me when we were playing basketball in high school. He played for the varsity team. We were playing some intramural stuff in PE, and he went up for a dunk. And as my two friends, we had him 3-on-1. And as my two other defenders went out of the way, I'm like, well, I'm the only one left. I jump with him. I get dunked on. Not a shameful moment. Coach says you go up with him. Doesn't matter what's going on. You go up with him. He took my hand, pulled me up, gave me a quick dap, and was like, I got respect for you, but yeah, there was no way you would stop me. I was like, I knew. But coach always says, go up. And
Yeah, you just have to time it right.
Jackson Hayes,
Because
your
that's
timing.
what didn't happen. And Steph saw it coming and he just, all right,
Whee!
hold on. All right.
Oh,
It was hilarious.
you know what's funny is you want to know one of the ways that I can tell whether or not the Warriors are going to win a game or not. If Steph is missing spot up threes, not the quick shot, not the ones when he's coming from
The
like
ones where he's
45,
got 5 minutes to take his shot.
right, to
Yes.
plan himself, and it
Yeah.
still goes off. I'm like, all right, if he misses one or two, it's like, all right, that's about on average. But once he starts missing five, six, seven of them, it's like, all right, this gonna be a long night. Like,
Well,
but yeah,
thankfully that was not.
that was not the
That was
case.
not the case.
Steph and LeBron put on a show. LeBron put on a show because he had to. Because if not, the Lakers would have lost by like 30. If LeBron didn't put on a show, the Lakers would have lost by 30. Instead, the Warriors beat him by I think like 17 or
But
something like that.
Steph still put on a better show.
Yes, Steph did. Oh, and
So,
let's not talk about the up and under shot. Like I don't think he intended for that to go in. I think he threw that up like Bon Jovi says, living on a prayer. He threw that up with a wing and a
well,
player.
but that was at the very least I'm going to draw a foul
Right.
kind of thing. I got to
Right.
make it seem like it's a shot because then I'll draw the foul. But
Exactly.
that shit actually went in
and that and that's what's happened for Steph Curry a lot
for
of
the
his
and
career.
one.
You know, like
For the and one. Like yes, but that really does sum up his career.
it
The
does.
shouldn'ts that did.
Have you seen the video? Not to get too far off on the Steph, but have you seen the video of everybody else at the All Star break? All these different players, Russell Westbrook, like all these different players trying to hit full court shots, right? And they're clanking, they're missing, they're banking off the backboard, they're missing the hoop altogether. And then after like 8 of them miss, Steph steps up, just cool, calm, and collected, spots up, flings it up, effortless, as they say. And whoosh, nothing but net. And everybody else is like, what the? And Steph's just like, that's what I do. Like, that's his warm up.
you, yeah. Do you guys not see what he does every night when they're at home, where he shoots from to start the game? Like, it's a whole thing.
Oh,
He
but,
shoots from the fucking tunnel. Like,
and, and
just give up now, the rest of you, because it's.
here's
And
what's funny. Go ahead.
He's one of those that, and we've talked about, and we have that argument about, like, being in the Hall of Fame is somebody
Yeah,
that you cannot write the history of a sport without. And Steph is one of those. Because
100%.
anybody, all the greatest, anybody who knows anything about basketball. Now, my partner on one hand says he hates what it's done to the game, right? And I tell him to shut up because he sounds like Chuck. But but Steph has changed the game.
Yeah.
He did. That man changed the game. And I know a lot of people are like, it can change back now because
Yeah.
it did lose some stuff. And I'd like to see a hybrid of kind of old and new kind of come together.
I can tell you exactly where I'd like to see it come together. I'd like to see the low post game of the late 80s, early 90s mixed in with the perimeter game of today. Like, I think that would make a great blend, which I think the Warriors were, it was kind of what the Warriors were trying to get at when they drafted James Wiseman. It was like except Wiseman just didn't end up being as efficient on the offensive end as they needed him to be in the way that they needed him to be. And Quentin Post is more filling that role than James Wiseman did. But it's kind of what they wanted, is they wanted that big guy inside that if they needed to pound it inside, they could, but still have Steph, Buddy Hield, and all the rest of these guys on the perimeter knocking down threes, and Jimmy Butler, so on and so forth. It's a great plan to me, and I would love to see what it's like when you get somebody that's a true center, a Shaq type center, a Hakeem Olajuwon like true center, play for a team that has a bunch of great perimeter shooters, and we'll see, and we could see that type of a blend. I don't think we've seen it yet. We've come close with the Warriors during their run to 5 finals because both Bogut and Pachulia were both 6'11", almost 7 foot. So and they had that inside game.
They damn near could have been the same fucking player, to be honest.
Yep. Only difference was with Bogut, there was a lot more hubbub before he came to the Warriors. Like, I want to say, wasn't he like a number 1 or number 2 pick in the draft overall? And like we got him as kind of a reclamation project because he had been injured a bunch of times.
Right.
So I think we were very lucky to get Bogut. Like, as much as people who loved Monte Ellis say we weren't, I think we were lucky to get Bogut because if he'd have been healthy throughout all his career.
People just get over the Monte Ellis thing already. Yeah. Like, that ship sailed a long fucking time ago.
It wasn't going to work with him and Monte.
No,
not the way it worked with him and Clay.
We would not have the championships we do now.
Right.
If we just, I'm sorry, it wouldn't. No.
It wouldn't. No.
So
I agree.
Y'all just Let it
So
go
so
already.
so let's jump on this before we jump off of basketball. Um, yes, we primarily only talk Warriors here. We'll get back to some more basketball towards the end of the show.
Because
But
Lakers fans don't even like the Lakers right now.
uh, but the Warriors 4 game stretch that's ending with the game against Houston tonight in San Francisco.
Can
Well,
we play every single team that we may meet during the playoffs in like our final stretch? Like
uh,
serious, we have one of the toughest end stretches.
well, after
But
this, it gets a little bit
with
easier because
the
I want to say we have Portland, and I want to say we have New Orleans one more time, and then we get the Clippers.
I just looked at
Yeah.
this and we still have the Suns on
Oh yeah, the
Tuesday.
Phoenix. Yeah, Phoenix. Sorry,
Yeah,
that's the one I
so
was missing.
we had just had like the top. We played the entire top of the standings. We in a whole week. We're gonna have
Uh,
played the entire top of the standings
Pretty
of the
much like
West
everybody except
Coast.
for Oklahoma. Like
And
everybody
yes,
except for
we
OKC.
do we do end with the Spurs, the Blazers, and then finally the Clippers.
Yeah.
So we do get a 2 game at least reprieve,
Right.
but you
We're 0
know,
3 versus the Clippers this year, but again, we haven't faced them with Jimmy yet. So I'll say it like
well,
this:
that yeah,
this 4 game stretch has been brutal in a lot of ways. They were just coming off a 14-day road trip. They play back to back playing Memphis and then oh no, Memphis and then Denver, right? Was it Memphis then Denver and then LA, or was it Memphis then LA then Denver? Yeah, LA
uh,
and Denver were back to back.
LA. It was LA and then Denver.
Right.
We just beat Denver,
So we beat Memphis in Memphis, then we get the day off, and then we face the Lakers in LA. That ended our 14-day road trip.
and
And
then
then the
we took a flight that night to play Denver, who was waiting on us.
in San Francisco,
Denver got
yeah.
to our home before we did.
Denver watched the games from the Buffalo Wild Wings in San Francisco.
Right.
But no, but yeah. So they then we get Denver, and then now we got Houston, and it's been W's all the way down the board. This was that stretch that like a lot of people had us going 0-4. Like this is where the Warriors come back down to reality. I guess not. I guess
These
the
are the
reality.
games we, not just because standing wise, right? That's one of the reasons. But these are the games that we want and need to win just because this is what our future looks
Mhm.
like over the next months.
And
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm saying months because June, here we come.
And here's the thing about it. I thank you for saying that. As we close out the segment, I'll bring up the fact that this kind of reminds me of 2022 and how people looked at us during the late part of 2022. Like it was a different
Yeah,
season in
people
2022.
people in the beginning of May thought I was nuts. That I was like, we were, even in the beginning of the playoffs, people thought I was nuts because I was
Mhm.
like,
And
nope.
nope, we
It, it,
got win after win after win, and it
mm,
just seems like that's happening again. We're hitting shots when we need to hit shots. We're getting stops when we need to get stops. And that was the formula that got us to 5 finals. That was the formula that won us 4 championships in 6 years. So
yeah.
it's like, and give Steph a fifth, and you have to put him in that top tier conversation as far as best players ever. You have to. Shaq is not tripping when he says that by any stretch of the imagination.
Well, and I mean, honestly, to me, it makes him better. I mean, to me, he's already better than LeBron. Um, just his win-loss records in the finals. I don't give a shit how many you've been to. You've lost more than you've won, and that
Amen.
says something to me. So, guess who didn't lose any?
Just saying. Just saying.
You know that number that you wear?
Yep.
that was somebody else's before it was yours, and that person.
And I know a lot of people are going to consider this a trash take, but to me, point blank and simple, if my goat is your goat's goat, then I think the
Your goat
conversation's
isn't the
over.
goat.
Like no, but no, I'm saying if my goat is your goat's goat, it's conversation over. He's not the dude you're trying to push. He don't even think he the goat. So like,
Guess who Kobe thought was the goat? Himself. I mean, in yes and no. Yes,
yep,
because of how he was, but no. The other thing he also said was there was no Kobe without MJ.
yeah.
So,
Kobe
period.
was a mirror image of MJ. No matter how you look at it, he was a mirror
Yes,
image in just about every way. On
and
the court,
and
that is.
yes, and his game. So without Jordan, there wouldn't have been a Kobe, and for that fact alone, and I mean, we can say that about LeBron. LeBron
Without
doesn't
Jordan, there
wear
would have been no.
23
Yep,
because he likes the number. Okay,
exactly.
that let's be very real here, and nothing at this point that LeBron does will still change the fact that Jordan is the GOAT. Period. Point blank.
Which is why I've stopped arguing with LeBron fans, and I've just been like, if that's what you believe, that's fine. You can pitch whatever case to me, and at the end, whatever case you want to me, and at the end of the day, my response is going to be, if that's what you believe, MJ is still my goat. Period. So, speaking of goats, let's get to that. Let's get to that young lady by the name of Paige Buchers, or is that her name?
Becker.
Becker. Becker. Bucher. Baker. Becker. Sorry for mispronouncing.
It looks like it should be Bucher, but it's Becker.
No, well, I am sorry for mispronouncing your name, young lady. From now on, I will just call you champion. as the UConn women's team, not just beats, but beats down South Carolina.
They demoralized them.
Yeah, and wins the women's NCAA championship. It's UConn's. I want to say it's their 12th or 13th at the school.
12th.
But how many have they won recently?
A bunch.
They haven't won many recently, right?
They've won quite. They've won quite a few. They're like their women's basketball program is like the winningest.
Well, that I know, yeah, of pretty much all time. 82-59. Wow. Wonder how different things would be if Juju had stayed healthy. Because I think USC was a true threat to UConn. But once Juju went down, that threat kind of went out the door.
Okay. So, 95, 2000, 2002, 2003, 2004, 2009, 2010, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, and now 2025. So they had not
years.
won since 2016.
Oof. Gino Auriemma, man, if they do not induct you into the Basketball Hall of Fame the minute you retire, if you're not there already, and I'm not talking about just like the College Basketball Hall of Fame. Yeah, that's a given. I'm talking about the NBA, the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. Like, yeah. What that man has meant to basketball and women's basketball specifically, he deserves to be in, period. And so, yeah. I want to say a couple, we'll get to that later too. A couple of his old players are getting in, aren't they? Or one of them is, at least Maya Moore is going in. Sue Bird didn't play for him. Who did Sue Bird play for? Oregon? I want to say Oregon. But needless to say, yeah. Gino Auriemma, much respect to you and what you've done with that program. Time and time again, they're constantly relevant, even if they're not winning championships. They're still relevant in that picture. So, now, on the men's side, we saw that Heritage team.
Sue Bird went to UConn.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, wow. Okay, I was completely wrong. I thought she was a Pac-12 girl. Maybe I'm thinking Ionescu.
that's probably who you're thinking.
Yeah, I want to say she was Oregon. Um, but yeah, on the men's side, we saw that Heritage School Duke get knocked out in an amazing game
Oh my God, that was a hell of a game.
against Houston. Um,
Woo.
yeah,
That
yeah,
was
man.
an awesome, awesome game. I mean, especially if you're not a Duke fan.
Yeah. Hey, I you want to know when I learned to hate Duke? Tar Heels, Tar Heels Duke for I believe it was for the national title.
It's yeah, like usually has something to do with it.
But here's what's funny: is when I really learned to hate them goes back even further. It's when UNLV and Duke played each other in the NCAA. That's when I really started hating Duke. Like, because I was a UNLV fan. I love me some Stacey Augmon. I love me some Larry Johnson. All of them. I was a big UNLV guy back then. That was before I picked. I was still a Cal fan, but Cal wasn't doing that good. So I had my other team that actually won, and that was UNLV. Then it went to Michigan. And then it was North Carolina for a little bit. Uh, when it comes to college basketball, I'm a bandwagon guy, but I have certain schools now.
Apparently.
I have certain schools that I stick with now. Like I'm a Cal guy, Michigan, and that's about it. I won't root for anybody else.
Yeah, but I feel like now that you can't really be a Cal guy and a Michigan guy like that. Oh wait, no, sorry. Cal didn't go to the. Never mind.
No.
You can be a Cal and a Michigan.
Yeah. That
Sorry.
was USC and Oregon that went to
Yeah.
the Big Ten and Washington.
USC, Oregon, Washington, UCLA.
Yep.
Like,
I told Suave, one of our co-hosts the other day, with me and him play college football 25 on the Xbox together online, and I'm the commissioner for our league. And I told him, I was like, every year they give you the option of creating custom conferences, which is how I got Cal to the Big Ten. So I
mhm.
told him, I said, hey bro, here's what's gonna go down next year. I'm bringing back the Pac-12. I'm bringing back all the teams. Bringing back USC, UCLA, Washington State, Oregon,
No,
all of them.
no more Pac 2.
No more Pac-2. It's going to be a full Pac-12, and then I'm going to dominate that conference. Anyway, uh, but needless to say, yeah, man, like it's going to be who is it? Houston and Florida.
Yeah,
In
that's
the,
a
in
weird combination.
so it's going to make for an interesting Midwest and East school, huh? So so it's going to be quite interesting to see where it goes.
It's weird.
Big time, big time. But this is what we asked for when we asked for parity, right?
Yeah.
Big pod. Um, Podminsky, like, love that kid, man. He's turned into something great. Uh, but yeah, so we'll review the men's national title game next week because that doesn't take place till tomorrow night. The women's happen to have taken place earlier today.
I
So
do love I do love the March Madness commercial with the Villanova old Villanova squad now that DiVincenzo isn't with them anymore. That
yeah,
commercial is hilarious. I love it. Poor guy. I think they shouldn't have broken them up, but
yeah.
whatever.
But I'll say it like this: only reason I approve of it is because it was for Cat. Like,
Yeah.
putting Cat at that low post, whatever you got to do to make that deal work. If DiVincenzo was a key piece that made it work, then. But I agree with you. I hate to see. I hated when the Warriors let him go. I loved him when he was a
Well,
Warrior.
yeah, I I agree with that too.
Yeah, I thought he fit that system very, very well, especially on the defensive end. But all right, so we're gonna take a quick break, rest our voices real quick, because we're gonna come back and talk a little bit about the fact that Trey Lance found a new home and laugh at that. No. And also talk a little bit about the 2025 Hall of Fame um, thing and John Morant, possibly the dumbest athlete known to man. We'll get into that after the break, after the commercial break.
Goddamn Clarence with no parents. When are you gonna fucking learn?
You're watching The Classroom featuring OMalley. Featuring OMalley right here on Twitch and YouTube. We'll be back. Peace.
This is now versus then. This is now versus then. Get on your mark, let's go. This is now versus then. Burning up your radio, still turning up the heat with Poetic on the flow. Got you moving to the beats with the Saint as your host. Shout out the collective, hold it down, we gon' clown, that's the lesson. Where Generation X meets Generation Next, with them bangers from the east to the south to the west. Yeah, this how we do it in Sacktown. Slide to the studio, yup, it goes down. Everybody fall through. These beats gon' pound, waking the game up, told you it goes down. And this is only the intro. Turn the mics on, shout out to my kinfolk. Where you at, y'all? Let's get this started. Turn down for what? We about to start the party. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. This is now versus then. This is now versus then. This is now versus then. This is now versus then.
You got to keep it. Keep it. You got to keep it lovely. You got to keep it. Keep it. You got to keep it lovely. Success comes right after the struggle. I ain't even giving up on whatever I wanted. The tragedies I've seen, I can't even stomach. Most of y'all weak as shit and would've started running. Every time I make it back to the crib, I'm thankful the Most High let me see all of it. Grateful I'm lovely, and I'm being real with this. Please don't judge me, I'ma stay on my shit. I'ma keep a grind mode button, push it, make it do something. No balls for me, cause I'm a loose cannon. I get to choose, camera, switch it up, look up a new banner. Keep smoking on that banner.
They say that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But the definition of beauty is distorted. Yeah. Come on. Searching for yourself, so insecure about the way you look, so you go to Miami. You can't find the love within yourself.
Hey, what's up, y'all out there in TV land or Twitch land or whatever we're doing today? My name is Dark Lord 100, aka Double KK Double. I am the host of Cheap Pop Podcast and The Classroom, as well as your favorite music show, KD5P. I'm here to tell you about the Live 365 lineup that we have coming up starting on February 3rd, Monday, February 3rd. We'll open up Mondays through Fridays with Now versus Then. Deuce, classic episode from the Blog Talk Radio days. We followed that up with an FU Wrestling podcast from Spreaker, starring myself, Double K, and your boy Cole. We followed that up with, again, me, Double K's Classroom, old sports show I used to do, 30 minutes from 6:20 to 6:50. We followed that up with West Coast Bias, myself, OMalley, Duel, and Suave, bringing you sports talk from a few years back. Then we have Now versus Then. That's the centerpiece of our day at 9:35 a.m. with a classic episode of Now versus Then. And every Wednesday at 9:35, you'll get a new episode of Now versus Then Deuce from Twitch. At 12:45, you'll hear an episode of KD5P, K-Double's Fifth Period Music Class, that you can hear right here on Live 365 every Saturday night. You can hear a replay of it every Tuesday night at 12, or Tuesday afternoon at 12:45. You can also listen to at 3:20 the Cheap Pop Podcast, followed by NBT Deuce at 5:30. Great episodes. Probably the same episode from the morning. Lip Gloss and Mike's has now moved to the 9:05 slot with a new episode of The Classroom on every Friday. And then we close out our night down and dirty with the Kings and Queens of Porn. That'll be every Monday through Friday right here on Live 365. Catch us at live365.com/First GenXers, or you can go to the Live 365 app, look for the First GenXers Radio Network, and that's where you'll find us. All this and more right here on Live 365. Peace. All right, and it's Double K back with you again, host of the Cheap Pop Podcast in the Classroom, also your favorite music show, KD5P, and I'm here to talk to you about the Saturday and Sunday lineup. Last video we did Monday through Friday. This week we're going to do Saturday and Sunday. All these shows will be airing on Saturday and Sunday concurrently till about mid-afternoon, and then we go into two different lineups. On Saturday, Sunday mornings at 12:30 a.m., you get a classic episode of Brick House 2.0. Followed up by Lovely Radio, which is back on the air with First GenXers. And we have Mr. Deacon at 5:15 a.m. Sam Brett Radio now moves up from the 10 a.m. slot to 7:25 a.m. on Saturdays and Sundays. And the 10 o'clock slot now goes to Ms. Optimism, back with us again after a short hiatus. We follow that up with another episode of Lovely Radio at 12:10. And then we get Sam Brett one more time at 2:45. You get about an hour and 15-minute episode on Sundays, and you get a full 2-hour episode on Saturdays. That episode will air right before the live episode of K-Double's Fifth Period Music Class on Saturday nights from 5 to 8. Right here live on Live 365, where K-Double brings you some of the hottest tunes from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s. And then we close out Saturday nights with the Worldwide Wrestling Podcast from 8:15 to 11. So on Sundays, you go from Sam Brett to 4:10 The Classroom, 45-minute episode of an old version of The Classroom that we had over on Spreaker. And we'll follow that up with Dirty Talk 101 at 5:30. And we close out with 7:40 the Worldwide Wrestling Podcast, another great edition of me and your boy Cole. And then we close out at 10:10 p.m. with the Sidebar. So thank you for listening or seeing me here on Twitch if you're watching on Twitch or YouTube. And join us on any one of our platforms here at First Gen Xers and Double KK Double Network. You got 2KK2network.com, my website. You also have the twitch.tv / First Gen Xers, and you also have Live 365 where you can find us or you're listening to us here. And we also have for those podcast folks over on Spreaker, a place where you can find the Cheap Pop Podcast and the Classroom on podcast. And you can download it and everything. So that's it from me for this week. This time around, I'll be back again with a new schedule as of May 1st. But until then, y'all enjoy this lineup and stay up. Peace. All right, we are back. So, here we go. So, there is one particular story that just cracked me up. Guess who found a new home? The one, the only, Trey Lance. The man that was overdrafted by the 49ers, dropped when he couldn't stop looking like a deer in headlights, and traded to the Dallas Cowboys, who did not even want, I guess evidently they didn't like what they saw in that game last year when he started for them, because they let him go this year. And he wound
That's
up.
got to be really, really bad given, like, Dak.
Yeah.
I mean, we see what they've kept, so...
Well, they also, in all fairness to Trey Lance, they also moved on from Cooper Rush as well. The guy that went like 7-2 as a starter behind Dak Prescott. So, but he found himself a home with an ex-49ers head coach out in San Diego with the Chargers, or Los Angeles with the Chargers. So where he will back up Justin Herbert. All right. Who knows? Maybe he can do something. Harbaugh has a tendency to take quarterbacks that aren't that good and make them look good. So,
Quarterback whisperer, perhaps?
Maybe.
Who knows?
Maybe. Alex Smith was considered a bust when Harbaugh took over, even though I don't consider any of Alex's first few years his own fault, considering he was playing for a dumpster fire of a franchise at that point. Hence why they had the number 1 pick in the draft. But I'm not saying he was Joe Montana, but he wasn't as bad as everybody made him out to be. He just never had a team around him until Harbaugh got there. And once he had a team around him, he did pretty good.
Until he got hurt.
Yeah, till he got hurt. And then unfortunately Harbaugh did the one thing that's never supposed to happen, and Alex Smith lost his job to injury.
Never supposed to happen, yet it seems to be what happens to 49er quarterbacks.
Well,
just saying.
Well, hey, there's a plus minus
Each
to
quarterback has gotten, even down to Steve Young. Had Montana not gotten hurt,
right,
Steve Young would not have gotten the chance that he did. And unfortunately, we say that that's not what's supposed to happen, but more often than not, that is exactly what happens.
And I agree 100%. And it's, for the 49ers, I look at it like this. With the Montana Young situation, Young could do everything Montana could do, and he was mobile. Like, it was like...
And young.
Yeah, and he was younger.
And not hella hurt.
Yeah.
Already.
So it's like, point. They kind of had, yeah. They would have kind of been stupid. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, because, I mean, Montana was already on the downward trajectory of his
Even though he
careers.
did take the Chiefs to a AFC Championship game. Bravo to him. They put a good team around him.
Right, but I mean, he's not a miracle worker.
Yeah, and although
neither was Alex Smith. I mean,
I will say that although Colin Kaepernick was not necessarily a better quarterback than Alex Smith overall, Colin Kaepernick was the hotter hand at that time with the way that he was playing in the few games he had before Alex got healthy.
And he's more mobile, and
Yeah,
he was a different type of quarterback
yeah.
than Alex Smith. So, and honestly, I think he was more of a Jim Harbaugh kind of quarterback. And I
I
think
said,
that's part of why that went well for them
right. At least for the first
until
season.
it didn't.
Yeah. um, but also I even look at the most recent situation with Jimmy G, Trey Lance, and Brock Purdy. I'm sorry, like Jimmy, bro, we held on to you as long as we could until we couldn't. And as far as Trey Lance, you were given your opportunity. You were handed the keys to the kingdom,
Hmm.
and you just didn't live up. Unfortunately, Brock Purdy outplayed both of y'all the 10-game stretch that he played once he took over the
But
starting position.
that's what happens when you're given something versus when you have to work your ass off to earn it.
Yeah, I can see that. Jimmy came in with heat. Like Jimmy came in like playing well, looking he did like he earned that first contract, but he was too
He did,
inconsistent.
but he didn't, because he got what he first got because he really nothing was expected of him when he filled in for Tom Brady during the
Oh yeah,
suspension.
yeah, because everybody knew
So
Tom was
he
going to
was
be the
able,
guy come back.
right, and
Right.
so but that allowed him to actually play without pressure and go out there and do well.
Right.
But that was as much because of Belichick's system as it was because of who he was as a quarterback.
But I think San Francisco proved that he was a decent quarterback. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and say that
I'm
Jimmy
not saying
Garoppolo
he's
was
not
anywhere.
a
It
I'm not
wasn't. It
saying
was
he's not
anywhere.
a decent quarterback,
But
but
for a couple of year period of time, he was amongst his numbers say for a couple of year period of time he was amongst the elite quarterbacks in the league his first few years in San Francisco. It just
yeah, but
seemed like every couple of years he'd get hurt for the entire season.
and also numbers aren't always the most accurate.
Yeah, but okay. It's kind of like what people used to say about Brock Purdy. Like until he did it year after year after year. The main difference between Brock Purdy's numbers and Jimmy Garoppolo's numbers is Brock Purdy hasn't gotten hurt. Like really, like that's the main difference. They're both fairly accurate. Brock's just a quicker decision maker. That's what I kept telling everybody when they were like, "Why did they stick with Brock Purdy?" Not in a bad way, but they just didn't understand. Trey Lance, you got all this invested in him. Jimmy Garoppolo, both Jimmy and Trey process super slow. Brock Purdy processes a lot faster, makes decisions, and gets the ball out, which if you look at it, it's a trait that another quarterback carries that Shanahan's coveted a lot in Kirk Cousins. He reads the field, he makes decisions, and he gets the ball out. I'm not saying he makes the right
Yeah,
decisions
but
every time.
this goes back to freaking his love affair with Kirk Cousins and the fact that they wanted Kirk Cousins and not RG3 and all of that stuff. So he definitely has a type.
Yes, yes, and Brock Purdy fit that type a lot better than Trey Lance or Jimmy Garoppolo. What was funny is Brock Purdy's the perfect mix in between because Jimmy had the arm that Trey didn't, but Jimmy wasn't mobile. Trey was
And
mobile.
Jimmy was just too pretty. And I don't mean Purdy like
Yeah,
Brock
Purdy.
Purdy. I mean, but he was just too pretty.
uh, Trey
Let's be
Lance.
honest.
Uh, Trey Lance looked like a deer in headlights. Didn't know when to get rid of the ball and ran around the field a little bit too much. Brock Purdy is kind of like the perfect mixture of both. He moves when he needs to, but can sit in the pocket and make that decision and get that ball to that receiver. That again, a lot more accurate than Jimmy as well. Like which is saying something because Jimmy's by the numbers, Jimmy was pretty accurate. I think he was like 60-70% accuracy when he was starting for San Francisco. So again, I get what you're saying about not losing your job to injury, but it sucks when you lose your job to injury, because the other guy was just better. And the only reason why the other guy didn't get the starting job over you is because you were the incumbent.
Mhm.
Like that's literally what the story of Brock Purdy and Steve Young is, and Alex Smith.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Well, no, actually, Alex Smith is the one that I think if Colin Kaepernick doesn't play the way he plays, uh, I think Alex Smith gets that job back 100%.
Yeah. I
You know,
absolutely agree with you.
uh, but with both Steve Young and with Brock Purdy, they just outplayed their predecessors. Like as good as the predecessors played, they both outplayed them. I love Steve. I love Joe. Don't get me wrong. 4-0 in Super Bowls, never threw an interception in the Super Bowl. I love Joe. Steve Young was just a better quarterback. Steve Young had Joe's arm, and he had legs, and he again, for some odd reason, West Coast Shanahan, Bill Walsh, that tree, they like quarterbacks that can get the ball out quick, that can make decisions, process, and get the ball out quick. And one of the things I'll always love to say about Joe,
Yeah, because they stay healthier longer. That's called
No shit.
protecting your investment.
yeah. So,
The investment has to protect the investment.
and I will say this, even with Michael Vick, quarterbacks who are mobile have a tendency to hold on to the ball a lot longer than non-mobile quarterbacks. Yes, it's a survival technique, but it's just true. They do have a tendency to hold on to the ball or to be the ones to hold on to the ball too long, as opposed to pocket quarterbacks. So, but needless to
A
say,
pocket quarterback's just going to go down. They're just going to slide. That's
Yeah.
really, or ground the ball or do something. The fucking mobile quarterback is going to do some stupid shit like hold on to the ball and try to run and try to figure out somebody to fucking throw
Throw
it
the
to
ball.
all at the same time. Just tuck and run, motherfucker.
tuck it and
Seriously.
fucking run. Oh shit! All right, so that was the only football. Let's get to the hot topics of the day before we close out here. Carmelo, Dwight Howard, Sue Bird, Maya Moore, all entering the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. So congratulations to them.
Little Carmelo.
Yeah.
Have you seen the statue commercials of Little Carmelo?
Oh man. Hold up. You want to know what's hilarious? Is the first time I saw the headline, it said Bird, Mello, Howard, Hall of Fame class 25. I went, Larry Bird ain't played since like the late 80s. Like, I'm like, what? What? And then I went and saw and read the whole front line, and it said Sue Bird, and I was like, oh, Sue, yes, good
That
for
makes
her.
sense.
That makes sense. I was like, Larry Bird, what are you talking about? Larry Bird in the Hall of Fame, killing me. But 100%, congratulations to all of them, because I forgot. I was about to say something about Dwight Howard not having a championship, but I always forget Dwight Howard was on that 2020 Lakers squad that won a title.
But that really just doesn't count, though. It doesn't. I'm sorry.
If it's your only one, to him it does. It may not to the
But
rest
did you
of
get
us.
a parade?
No, because people were sick. No.
Your shit doesn't count.
Oh man. But Carmelo getting in without a championship, first ballot, my guy deserves it.
He does.
My guy did everything but win a championship.
And not for not trying.
Yep. I will say, I agree with Stephen A. He said it on First Take earlier this week when they announced that Melo got in. I think the only the misstep that Melo made is it should have been Melo instead of Chris Bosh with the Heat.
Okay.
And I think Melo has a couple of championships underneath his belt if he goes that way. Instead, Melo came to New York because Melo didn't want to give up the full max contract.
Yeah.
That everybody else, Bosh, Wade, and Bron were willing to take a little bit less. I think it was like $5 million less each from
Yeah.
the max. And Melo didn't want to leave any money on the table, so he went to New York and got his full max contract and didn't go to the Heat. I think that's the only misstep in his career. only because Melo would still be going in a first ballot Hall of Famer, but he'd be going in
Yeah,
with
but
at least 2 championships.
also the Knicks also had a little bit on their side too with the fact that he was a hometown kid.
Yeah,
I think he had always wanted to play
in New York.
for the Knicks.
Yeah.
So
Like I said, it was great. It was great for his story. It's great for his pocketbook. I just think as far as rings, I think he missed out on a couple there. But
yeah,
evidently, it did not affect his Hall of Fame credentials because he
Clearly
gets in
not.
first ballot, and they understand what Melo meant to the game. And congratulations to him, Dwight Howard, like I said, Sue Bird, Maya Moore, both former UConn Huskies.
yeah, Sue Bird, not Larry Bird.
Not Larry Bird, yeah. And yeah, wasn't Maya Moore one of those ones that won a championship every year that she was at UConn?
I believe so.
Like her freshman year, sophomore year, junior, senior. It was her and I forget who else, the other girl. But yeah, like I'm glad that we're now recognizing WNBA players, and I want to say she won a couple of WNBA championships too.
Yes.
Um, but we're acknowledging we're putting in WNBA players as well as NBA players into the Hall of Fame. It's well deserved. These women help grow the game of women's basketball to heights and levels that it hadn't seen before. Because of women like them, things like the WNBA exist, and so bravo to them. May they be recognized. I believe they said the ceremony is in September. So even though they announced them this early, the ceremony itself is in September, like September 5th, 6th, Labor Day weekend or something.
That's weird.
So, well, they always announce it a few months earlier.
Yeah, but
Like-
it's just that's. I guess is that between the two seasons? Because just that September feels like a weird random.
Like they just
Right.
yanked it out of nowhere.
Yeah, like I mean, these things the inductions usually coincide with like the first games of the season and shit.
Yeah.
This just feels really super fucking random.
Well,
We're gonna have it on some Tuesday in September when no one else is doing anything. If you guys are busy, come on down and, you know.
Yep, it's scheduled in the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame Enshrinement Weekend for the class of 2025. It's scheduled for September 5th and 6th, 2025. I guess it's a Saturday and Sunday.
Where is that?
I want to say Naismith is in. It'll take place at Mohegan Sun in Connecticut.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, that's the awards gala. The enshrinement's there, Springfield, Massachusetts, on September 6th. Yeah, the class includes Melo, Dwight Howard, Sue Bird, Maya Moore, Sylvia Fowles, Billy Donovan, Chicago Bulls head coach is getting in, Mickey Arison, and Danny Crawford. So there we go, the 5th and 6th. Now, let's close out talking about this idiot. And yeah, y'all can say whatever y'all want to say to me. I don't care. John Moran is a fucking idiot.
He's an idiot.
Like, dude, look, I get it. No big deal. Hey, just did gun thing, whatever. The fact of the matter is your boss said don't do that shit again, or else there's going to be consequences. And your dumb ass went on ahead and did it again. That's the part that I don't like. It's just like the people who signed your checks said no more, and you did it anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that it just I don't get it. Like this kid needs better people around him. And that's what I really feel for, because I feel like if he had better people around him, this would be a different story right now. This wouldn't continue to happen. And I can talk this shit and say that he needs better people around him, and people can say, well, how do you know? How blah, blah, blah. Bruh, at least 2 of the incidents he's caught major trouble with, his mom and his dad incited those incidents. Okay, his mom did a hold a don't you know who my fucking son is kind of bullshit and got him into some mess because
She,
somebody
yeah.
didn't want to treat her what she felt that she should be treated being his mama. So freaking Clarence needs two different parents because
Yeah.
Clarence's parents it, it doesn't make sense to me. Like he needs somebody around him that's going to smack him upside the head for acting a fool.
And say, look, yes,
Right.
100%. Look,
Where is his grandmama? Cause grandmama should be
give me
it's
Larry
really
Johnson as grandmama. Just say, grandma dunk on him. No, 100%. I'm right with you there. Like somebody needs to step in and tell this young man, like, look, man, I get it. You want to be cool, and there'll be time to be cool, bro. With the type of money you making, you can
but
retire
that's
at
not the
35.
kind of cool you also need to be,
You
dude.
don't.
Like, it's not. Because you didn't grow up that way.
Yeah.
You are not from the streets. The streets don't want you. Okay? The street light has come on. It is time to go home. Stop fucking around and
Hmm.
go out there and be a good example.
Yep.
Because
100%.
whether you asked for it or not, part of your contract, part of your written contract, part of being an NBA player, part of being a professional athlete and being paid gajillions of dollars and having freaking sponsorships and all of that means that you are a role model, like it or not.
Whether you
Like,
like
and
it
I'm
or not.
sorry, but Memphis is not a place where kids need the encouragement to be freaking pointing up guns and
Bang,
it
bang, bang. Yep.
right. And because I did hear that argument, well, it was just fingers. Okay, well, when the dude's already been slapped multiple violations from using the real thing, do you not think at the very least it's in poor taste and definitely poor judgment?
100%.
And I mean, I get
Yeah,
it. He's still under 26, isn't he? Like his
yeah.
brain isn't fully developed yet. Like
I don't even give him
he's
that out.
still doing some dumb shit.
He's just
But
being defiant.
but I also think it has more to do with the people he has around him than anything.
Yeah.
Cause look at
Primarily.
Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
look at
comparably.
Draymond Green.
Well, comparably also this. It's got to be the people around him. Because in those moments, in any situation in life, it is the people around you who 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 are the ones that stop you, look at you, and say, "Look, mother, stop!
You're
You're
gonna fuck it.
fucking, you're fucking
Yeah.
shit up. Like you're fucking your life up. You're fucking shit up with your sponsors. You're fucking shit up with the league. Like stop."
Right.
And when it's not his mom or his dad, we're seeing exactly what happens.
Well, and but see, that's the thing too. It's not even just that it's not his mom or his dad. It's like the opposite. His mom and dad are the ones encouraging the nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
If you're
And
not at least
participating in
gonna
it.
be, yeah, if you're not at least gonna be like checking his bullshit, don't be
Or
encouraging and
participate.
facilitating it or being the root cause of it because of your dumb shenanigans.
So, all right, that's gonna wrap us up. Ja, do better, bro. Like, I don't think you'll ever see this, but if you ever do, just do better. There's so much more
Do
potential
better.
in you.
And fuck LeBron. So, you know.
I didn't even have to ask for it this time.
Nope, didn't have to because we about that time of the year, so everything is basketball and fuck LeBron right now.
Next week, after the NCAA tournament, playoff basketball is going to take over. We're down to our last 4 or 5 games, so
Favorite
let's go.
time of the season.
As that boy Pat McAfee says on ESPN, let's go! Anyway.
Wow, this is what we've come to.
Yep, yep. That's going to do it for us this week, guys. I am Dark Lord 100, aka Double K. That is OMalley, or that over there is OMalley. And this has been The Classroom, featuring OMalley on Twitch and Double KK Double Network YouTube. Peace.